This is a Fox News alert, and if you are just joining us, the FBI doing a terror investigation after last night and this morning's deadly terrorist attack that they're calling it that happened in New Orleans in the French Quarter on Bourbon Street as people were celebrating at about 3:15 in the morning. The FBI naming the suspect who was shot dead by police after opening fire at police there, 42-year-old Shamsuddin Bahar Jabbar. The FBI treating the incident as a, quote, act of terrorism, saying that a black ISIS Islamic flag was being flown at the back of the truck and that other individuals are involved. Let's bring in Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill, who joins me now on the phone to talk to Jonathan and I. First, let's just talk about how widespread this investigation is and how hard it is going to be able to pinpoint exactly who is behind this, knowing that the suspect is not a lone suspect and there could be multiple people that have been planning this for, who knows, days, months, years.
Yeah, look, I think this investigation is moving very, very quickly. I mean, we've already identified a house fire early this morning where some of the individuals who we believe are connected were working, and you know, so these things are moving very quickly, and I know that information will be released as soon as we can.
And Madam Attorney General, it's Jonathan here. Obviously, it's very important to talk about the investigation, to see where it's going, to look into the background of this attacker. But before we get deeper into that, I wanted to ask you, as the Attorney General of Louisiana, as a human being, how do you react to the fact that somebody would drive into a crowd of people in the name of ISIS, apparently, people who are simply celebrating the New Year on the streets of New Orleans at 3 a.m. New Year's Day? I would just like your reaction as a human being.
Yeah, you know, Jonathan, it's a terrible thing to wake up to. It was a terrible thing for me to wake up to this morning. I mean, I have children, adult children who come to New Orleans and who have been on Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve in the past. And, you know, so I'm really, my thoughts and have very, very heavily been with the parents who had phone calls this morning that no parent ever wants to get. And we still have at least 10 people that are clinging to life in critical condition in the hospital. So, you know, it's a terrible event, and it's really a tough day for everybody in our city and our state, and I think it's a terrible day for the country.
I want to talk about the particular truck that was used in this. We know that it was a rental. We know that it was brought from Texas, and it was spotted in Eagle Pass, Texas, back on November 19th. But we understand that the truck does have a history of plate readers. It never actually passed through from Mexico into Eagle Pass. However, the license plate on this truck has a history of plate readers at the border in patterns, and I'm quoting, that may be suspicious for human smuggling. When this story first broke, a lot of people wanted to know the identity of the suspect. When you hear human smuggling, you think about the border, and the border has obviously been such a dangerous, ignored problem for this country, with so many of these sleeper cells and terrorists who want to harm Americans illegally crossing our borders. What part of that most alarms you?
Well, you know, I've been alarmed by terrorists and criminals crossing our border for some time. In fact, one of the lawsuits that I filed against the Biden administration addressed the fact that the administration was not removing violent criminals who had been convicted and served their time and were subject to removal under federal law. So, and we know that there are a number of other people who've been allowed across our border without any real checking, and that we've got known terrorists among us. This is part of the same pattern. It is very concerning, and I think that we've got a lot of sorting out to do when the new administration takes over.
Attorney General, Congressman Troy Carter said at the news conference that you also attended, and this is a quote, "We will find you," talking to the other suspects, "we will bring you to justice." Is that something, a promise that you two as Attorney General can make to the people of Louisiana and indeed this country?
It absolutely is, and while there are certainly federal terrorism charges and other charges that can be brought, we are willing to bring state charges as well, and we have state terrorism charges. We have the death penalty in Louisiana, and I'm certainly willing to ensure that we carry it out.
Attorney General Liz Murrill, we are grateful to have you here, and we send, of course, our condolences, sympathies and support to all the people of the great state of Louisiana. Attorney General, thank you so much. Julie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.